Okay, we can start.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشرك في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for coming again. So today, inshallah, we're going to continue reading from the words, the 10th word. For the past couple of times, we've talked about the relationship between the pillars of belief and belief of resurrection. So how do they tie in together? This section today is talking about the resurrection event itself. To some of us, it can still be kind of a mystery. How is it that we will wake up from the death and experience the day of judgment and, end up somewhere new? So some of us might be interested in trying to find evidence for that or really understand the process of how this is going to happen. So the author today is really focusing on is focusing on some analogies so that we can better conceptualize and reason this resurrection of the death. So today the reading is quite short, but it's quite concise. So we will let's see together what the author is presenting for us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we're reading the third part of the addendum. I'm sharing my screen. If my voice is not clear or something is off, let me know, okay? A question related to the resurrection of the dead. The frequently repeated verse, it will be not but a single cry, and the verse, the command of the hour will be like the glance of the eye, show that the resurrection of the dead and great gathering will occur instantaneously, in a flash. But man's narrow reason requires some tangible example so that it can conceive of this wondrous, sorry, one second. Sorry about that. But man's narrow reason requires some tangible example so that it can conceive of this wondrous, extraordinary, and unparalleled event and accept it. Okay, so here we have two verses from the Quran that are frequently repeated, that basically describe that resurrection or the command of the hour will be something like the glance of an eye, or it will be nothing but a single cry. So it makes it seem like such a simple event, even though it's an extraordinary event. So how do we make sense of that? So how do we make sense of that? How of a resurrection of the dead and the great gathering will happen just like this, instantaneously, despite how extraordinary the event is? The answer, at the resurrection, there will be return of spirits to their bodies, the revivification of the bodies, and the remaking of the bodies. So 3 things are going to happen at resurrection. So returning of the spirit, bodies are going to be given life to again, and they're going to be made again. So how is that going to happen? Or how can we even, I think the key question is, how can we accept such a suggestion that the Quran is making? If you feel like we need to stop at any point, let me know. I'll pause and wait. So the first matter, an example for the return of spirits to their bodies, is the mustering at a loud bulge call of the members of a well-disciplined army after they have dispersed to rest. Yes, the Sur of the angel Israfil is no less powerful than an army bulge. The spirits too, who, while in post-eternity, reply with, yes, we accept, to the question, am I not your sustainer, which comes from pre-eternity, are infinitely more subjugated, disciplined, and obedient than the soldiers of an army. The 30th word has demonstrated with decisive proofs that not only spirits, but all particles form a divine army and are its soldiers under command. Okay. So here it's saying, well, the Quran is suggesting that you will be questioned in post-eternity. Who is, am I not your sustainer? And I here is representing the creator. Am I not your sustainer? And you will, if you say, yes, we accept, then you will immediately respond. And then there is the angel Israfil, who is the angel with the, who's gonna blow the trumpet. He's being likened to, okay, if you have a huge army, let's imagine you have a huge army of people and they all went to sleep and you want to wake them all up. What is one thing you can do? So you're going to blow something with such a loud voice and they're all going to wake up. So the author is likening the event to when you have that army to the event that will occur with Angel Israfil. Okay, so far so good. But again, what's the key convincing thing is we see it right here. The 30th word has demonstrated with decisive proofs that not only spirits, but all particles form a divine army and are its soldier under command. So I think the likening of an army, that we are as though we are an army, is that we're always under the command of a divine being. Everything is happening under that command. So wouldn't it make sense that, again, if that divine being is commanding something to happen, wouldn't it make sense that it happens? Because again, if we study what we see around us enough, we will see that there is a divine command in action. Yes. Go ahead, Brother Ali. I think I'm finished.
It is very hard to understand this verse, which is widely and often circulated among the Muslim population. Our spirit acknowledged God. Why? Because Quran says, I asked them, am I not your spirit? Am I not your sustainer, your Lord? That is what this translation says, am I not your sustainer? But common translation is, am I not your Lord? And the spirit replied, of course you are. Okay, which is very famous among Muslim literature. قالوا بلى veya or elestu rabbukum, elest. Bezmi elest is very famous among the Muslim scholarship, referring to this event. Of course, for a person who didn't take the Quranic news for take it for granted, he would say, I don't remember that. I don't think so. What is that? Before I was created or I was in this world, my spirit said that? Who's that? It is stranger to me. For a person who says, hey, if God says so, for a Muslim believer, if the Quran says so, must be true. I think this is these two views represent two opposite ideas, and both of them are really extreme and not understanding the case. First of all, we have to remember that when we read the Quran, we should understand that Quran is giving us about the news about ghaib. What does it mean? It is very simple. When we look at this universe, we see everything as it is, but at the same time, we have to use our intellect, our minds, and try to make sense of this wonderful existence, beings. What are they for? How they come into existence? Where do they come from, etc. And there is no real answer we receive from the universe itself. Universe is wonderful, yes, but if I say, how did you come to this world? I don't have any direct, straightaway response from it, but the way they exist is extremely interesting. It is very interesting because it is impossible to explain how the things came into existence, but this is impossible for human intellect. It is impossible to explain how it came into existence as it looks to me, and how it is divided into billions of different species, forms, and all of them are perfectly fitting to each other within a huge universal order of existence. And we question the things themselves have no qualities, no consciousness, no will, no power, no knowledge. to give existence to themselves. It is impossible, or accidentally happening like this, but existence cannot accidentally happen. We never experience such a thing, but we experience that if our human intellect is aware that if something is deliberately done throughout our experience in this world, if something is deliberately done, definitely it is within an order, plus it must have a conscious, intelligent agent behind it. When I look at the universe, there is no such thing within the universe because I am questioning the universe itself. It is for any human being easily understandable if you ask the machine who made you and look into the machine, what can be the agent who made the machine, everybody will laugh at me. Human intellect cannot accept it. So we have to question, there must be something, but we don't know. When the Quran speaks to us, it claims that I am the engineer of this machine, of the universe, and I'm going to tell you in an prospectus or in an manufacturer's handbook why I did this machine, how do you use it, for what purpose you can use it, and which kind of benefits you can get. Quran claims that it is the speech or handbook, prospectus of the machine of the universe. Although universe is, it is not right to liken it to a machine, but as an example, this is just an analogy. So for the sake of analogy, we understand it's a temporary assumption because machine is fixed, but universe is continuously changing. We know that. When he says, look, I created you, the creator, the one who speaks as the one who is the engineer of this universe speaks, I created you, and I created in such a way that you can understand in the existence of everything 2 points. In the existence of everything 2 points, because when Quran makes a claim, it always demonstrates the evidence for its claim. Always demonstrates its claim in the universe. So the Quran says, look, for example, I am saying, I asked your spirit, am I not your Lord? What does it mean? I have to understand this is the Creator's message to me. Let me think about myself. It says, the engineer of my being tells me that it asked my spirit, am I not your Lord? It means I have to use my existence as an evidence, and within my existence, I will see that my spirit, my human side, will witness that I have a Lord. I have a Lord. It means engineer, who made me in such a way that I responded back to my maker with my human consciousness, of course, yes, you are my Lord. It means in my own existence, through my consciousness, I can understand that I am made by a one who has this and this and these qualities. It must have these qualities. So Quran is asking me, investigate your own being in order to understand who the one who made you, who created you with all your human qualities. By using these qualities, you can understand who your Lord, who your engineer is. Quran in this verse, very mysterious verse, very often debated on the meaning of this verse among Muslim scholarship, referring the case to my own self, to witness within my own existence that I am given the ability to understand who my Lord is, who my Maker is. He made me, created me in such a way that, which is called self-consciousness, I can understand who can be the creator of my body, who can be the one, the agent, who created my human side as well. For example, I look at my existence, I say somebody must have planned perfectly, put me in order so that I can understand my material side cannot be the source of my existence. He enabled me to realize who my Lord is. This verse, what I understand, it's a difficult verse. Without going into two extreme sides, saying that it is just a made-up story, there is no such thing. The other one, oh, if Quran says so, must be true. Both of them are baseless, because if Quran says so, requires, it is then begging the question, I don't believe in the Quran. Why should I believe it? Says some nonsense sentence like this, which says, you answered me when I asked you, am I not your Lord? You said, come on, I never occurred to me in my whole life. And there is no one who says that, yes, I did. They are looking for a physical appearance or occurrences of this event, so that there is no physical occurrence of it. But the middle way of understanding, look at your own existence. You are given such qualities that you can understand who your creator is. So we have to look at ourselves in order to understand the day of resurrection is going to take instantaneously, immediately. Why? Because I can understand that in my existence, continuous change is occurring and reoccurring throughout my being in this world, and every moment is not taking even a moment. I mean, not second, come on, second is a long time. In the instant moment. Why? It comes into existence as a result of a power which must be infinite. Doesn't recognize any limitation space-wise, spatial, or temporal, time-wise. if I look at my reality, I would understand that my maker must be infinite. Everything has no break in their existence.
Are you saying
That's
that
all.
resurrection is already happening every moment?
Say it again.
You're saying that resurrection is already happening
In
here
every
and now, in every moment.
That is what I understand. Oh, you are very intelligent. How did you get it? I worked on it for years, more than half a century.
I'm so smart.
Yeah, correct. Every moment is an instant happening, as the verse said, narrated verses say. Yeah.
And what I think, like I was thinking about, like how the analogy is related to the truth. In the analogy, in the army, it says when somebody blows the trumpet, everybody assembles. But there, each individual soldier, they have the will and the power, like in the analogy, and act upon the signal, right? But when you apply the analogy to the reality, everything in the creation is actually the same case as in the analogy, for example, for the trees, beings, atoms, whatever you can think of in terms of existence. I think there is just, by giving that analogy, he's trying to open up a way for understanding the tremendous of his glory and power when it comes to creation. So, like, in other words, it is very difficult for human mind to comprehend what it means to, like, kun feyekun, be and it is. So I think by giving that analogy, he's trying to bring, like, almost like try to explain what that really means, like be and it is, like a type of creation, what that really means and how it's possible. One, if you can understand that, like here and now, then like your question for like what's going to happen to me when I die becomes almost like irrelevant.
Yeah. Another problem, you touched upon my wound actually. Another problem in the Muslim world, and also other some major monotheist religions, the resurrection, the destruction of this universe, and resurrected, it means given existence again in another form. It's symbolized with blowing the trumpet. It's very famous. And again, there are two extreme ideas. One is, come on, a voice will destroy the whole universe? Come on, you must be joking. It is just a fantastic imagination. The other says, no, no, no. Revelation, Quran says so. Must be so. But Quran speaks always in a symbolic way. It means there is no physical interference in order to do something. For example, if you want to do anything, you have to physically interfere. Even the wind blows and the tree is knocked down, it is the physical effect.
There seems to be a causal relationship.
Yeah. Wind was so powerful, knocked the tree down, we say. But the Quran says, no, no, it is not a physical interference. It is just a blowing a trumpet. It means, oh, happen like this, finish. It means, I mean, in the, again, figurative language of the Quran, it is represented as command of God, will of God. Because when you said be and it is, which is very famous again, kun fayakun in the Islamic literature, be and it is refers to this reality, this aspect of the matter that Quran says when God, the speaker in the Quran is God. So it's it says, when I will something, when I will something to happen, it is nothing but my willing. This is not necessarily be. No, my willing.
That he's talking to.
Yeah, as if something is out there. I read this argument. Quran is nonsense, they say, this Orientalist people. The object is there. Quran says God is going to tell it to be. Oh, look, don't be ridiculous. It is already there. That is the ridiculous way of approaching the revelation or scriptures, actually, divinely inspired scriptures. So they read it literally as if they are reading a letter from their father or something, friends, getting a message from his friend on his cell phone. But this is just a way of telling that, look, there is no physical interference. I don't need to go and do it physically because I am an absolute being. You can look at yourself. Your existence doesn't have any physical existence, physical relationship. Just this moment, you are like this. Another moment, you get another shape. Slightly different, but not exactly the same. But everything in the universe is getting a new existence every moment. How can you explain this intellectually? There is only one way, referring to an infinite source, which is not like the universe at all.
I think it is very difficult to comprehend that. That's why, like, we kind of adapting about the truthfulness of it. Just because it is very difficult for human mind to comprehend what that means. And probably that's the reason, like, or in other words, if one cannot comprehend like how things coming into being in this experience, and without really establishing that, if you try to solve the problem of resurrection, I think it's going to be even more ridiculous, because you are not able to really comprehend like your own, how you're coming into being at the first place. How are you going to even try to understand what's going to happen to you after you die and resurrected from death again? So in other words, like, I think resurrection must, like, understanding of resurrection must be established based on your understanding how this universe coming into being at the first place. In this world that we are experiencing and observing. Yes.
Yeah. So we have to understand how the things are coming into existence so that we will acknowledge.
Maybe that's the reason why the author is referring to the 30th word, because that's what the 30th word is dealing with, right? Like,
yeah.
So
the existence is taking place as a result of will of the creator, whoever it is, but it must be an absolute being. That's it. That is belief in the ghaib. It must be an absolute being, means I believe in ghaib. That is why Quran identifies belief in God as belief in God. Quran identifies belief in God as belief in ghaib. It means nothing of this universe. It is just a made being. The maker I am talking about, Quran says, Ghaib means this, the maker of this. The presence of maker can only be understood with the art, with the quality, what he did. How do you know the quality of a singer?
It's work.
Yeah, if you, I came here to visit you, you say, I'm a very good singer. I don't know. How can I understand it? There's only one way. If you sing, hear and understand that you have an ability to sing. You are talented in singing. I said, you are true. So your claim doesn't mean anything, but your work means everything. That is what we have to understand the Quran when we study the Quran. I think we two people invaded the land. Please, Radwa, you continue. Or
No.
other friends.
Thank you. Yes, if anybody else has any reflections, it's always helpful, or any other understandings. No, thank you very much. That really clarified it for me. Treating this event as not something, happening in the future, maybe, inshallah. It's more like something I need to ask myself right now. And if I ask, like, how did I come into existence, or who is my sustainer, or who is sustaining all of this, then it would then the question of, am I not your sustainer, doesn't become such an unfamiliar, in the future, maybe going to happen kind of thing. I actually have a question when you were talking. I don't know if anybody can help me with it. Is there any significance to the idea that the spirit is going to be asked instead of anything else? Like, does the spirit have that capacity, in opposed to, like, say, I don't know, my mind, or I don't know. I'm curious to know, why is it the spirit that's being asked?
I'm very excited. Yes, my friend says something.
Spirit is a ghaib too. Spirit is also in a ghaib too.
Now, what I understand is, come on, in our daily life, how do we communicate with others, any others, and human beings or inanimate beings, plants, or animals, delicious food, etc.? How do we communicate with them? Can I speak to the trunk of a tree and ask them, what are you doing here? How did you come into existence here? The trunk will speak to me? No, the meaning, the qualities manifested in the body of the trunk will respond back to me. For example, when we love the flower or a beautiful bird or delicious food, what do we love? The molecules, atoms, or the quality of taste, the quality in the existence of something, for example, or when we speak to human beings, do we get the answer from their skin, flesh, bones, or do we get the answer from their human side, human qualities? None of them are physical beings. The human being has this quality of feelings, thinking, reflecting, reasoning, all kinds of emotional responses, etc. They are all non-physical beings. That is why Quran says, if you ask your spirit, you will understand that your spirit will declare you can understand through your intellect, through your feelings, through your memories. You can understand and come to the conclusion that, yes, in order for me to be in this world, to exist in this world, I must have an maker, agent. That is why Quran says, we asked you, addressing human spirit, not my body, but my body speaks with its qualities in its existence. Right? I don't know. Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes sense to me. Yes. Thank you. I hope it makes sense to everybody else. If anybody has questions, please let us know. Okay. All right. I think we can move on to the second matter. So the second matter, it says an example for the revivification of bodies, so like giving life to the bodies, is the springing to life in an instant of the 100,000 electric lights of a large city on a festival night, switched on from one center. Okay, so we're imagining a large city and there's one switch. If you turn it on, there's 100,000 lights that are turned on. It would be possible to light up in the same way 100 million lamps scattered over the face of the earth from one center. Since through the training and instruction in regularity and order it has received from its creator, a creature of Almighty God, like electricity, a servant and candle holder in his guest house, possesses this quality. Surely the resurrection of the dead could occur in the twinkling of an eye within the bounds of the regular laws of divine wisdom, which thousands of luminous servants represent, like electricity. So here the city is being likened to that body. And the thousands of lights is also being likened to returning the life back to the body. And the one switch that can turn that on is the creator's command. And then, well, how can you believe in such an event? Again, from the previous matter, we can learn that we shouldn't treat the events as like independent events that are going to happen someday, somewhere. Instead, it is happening in one way or another, or it needs to be happening right now so that I can sort of believe in it. So how can I believe in it? And then, the author again reminds us that this electricity has this quality by the command of the creator, or because of the creator. Again, the electricity itself is nothing if it wasn't for the creator's wisdom, or the divine wisdom, or the regular laws of divine wisdom. Yeah, that's it for me. Is that convincing enough for everybody? Go ahead, Brother Ali. And your friend, if you'd like.
Well, like whenever I hear an argument about resurrection or afterlife, For me, it doesn't make much sense, like if the worry or the question, oh, like is there an afterlife or what's going to happen to me when I die? Like just like taking the media like with those questions or with those worries, like it doesn't make quite sense to me. And when I read this text or when I listen to you, I think why it is important, like I am someone who has also like needs and wants for an infinite or eternal like longing, like existence. I find myself just in that situation. Like whenever I ask myself, like whatever, like my own existence, anything that I like, I love, I want their existence to continue. And so like this is the mindset or the questions that I like, or concerns that I live like every day. And when it comes to the matter of resurrection, if I can convince myself about the existence of a creator who is source of my existence and who is providing this existence like on like instantaneous basis, like minute by like second by second, and if I can convince myself that that is the case, then that kind of resolves that like need or want for like an eternal existence. And then like worrying about the questions of afterlife becomes, for me, it becomes irrelevant because it takes that contradiction away from my life. Because on one hand, like the contradiction, what I mean by that, like on one hand, like I am like in this constant like longing for an eternity. On the other hand, like I'm getting old, like destined for death. And that's what makes this life more miserable. Like, that's the reason why I'm not so concerned about what's going to happen to me when I die. Because I want to live a life here that is actually meaningful and with peace. And unless I have like some satisfying question, like answers to my like to those needs or and questions, I don't know how you can ever attain the peace and be like and have that meaning and be comfortable with it, especially as you get older and closer to death. That's why like resurrection, I think like for me, I think it is a phenomenon that is like more important for my like here and now, like everyday life, than what's going to happen to me when I die. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but that's how I feel about the subject.
No, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. I mean, what I understood is you're trying to sort of eliminate this whole idea of like, okay, we're living here for a couple of years, or I don't know how many number of years, then we're dying, and then something's going to happen after that or nothing. So instead of like separating all of, you know, these events, you're like trying to put them all together. What is the meaning of my existence right here, right now? And, you know, trying to see the meaning in that, which will then sort of eliminate all the other questions of like, what's going to happen here and here and here. Instead, it's like, what's happening to me here, the meaning that I feel here, whatever I believe in right now, it's just continuing with me, because that's the desire. I want the things that I want the meanings, I want what I love to continue existing. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, just a small addition, like what's happening to me here is true, but like the most importantly, I am someone who seeks permanent existence, eternal existence. So if that need is not met right now, it really doesn't matter what's going to happen to me, like when I die. Like, who cares? Like, when I'm dead, I'm dead. So like in its essence, in other words, religion is there to answer those kind of needs and questions. Religion is not for like something for what's going to happen to me after. It's something for how you can have a more meaningful life now. And it should be able to present that to me. Otherwise, like, it has no relevance for my life.
If I don't know the meaning in my existence now, how can I believe in resurrection and the promise of a book which is claimed to be 1400 years ago or 3000 years ago in the case of Torah? And historically, we don't know. I haven't witnessed it. So I see that it is irrelevant to me if I don't really see the evidence in my life now. The very widely used evidence is, to me, everybody is seeking happiness in this world. And the author of this book, in another writings, gives a very simple example. Can you imagine a man is convicted, or it is called, how do they call, the judge decides and you are going to be executed, for example. Sentenced to death. Thank you. And while this man is being dragged to the electrical chair, and he knows that at the end, definitely the electrical chair is there, and they will make him sit and he will die. On the way, they are giving him flowers. Be happy, man. Try to be to have a comfortable, pleasant life. Happiness is the purpose of our existence. But when you die, don't worry about it. You will forget about everything. Now, the real life condition is like we are here with burning desires to have happiness, not only existence, but happy existence. Perfect. Everything I want perfect. I don't want anything, a tool, for example, which has fault in it, doesn't work properly. So I take it back and return it to the seller or manufacturer. Why? What am I going to do with defective production? I want perfect. We are after perfection. We are after the eternal satisfaction of this perfect being. That is what my desires are. And they are telling me, while I see that the electrical chair is in front of me, I am sentenced to death, non-existence. And they are telling me that, come on, listen to us, listen to this music or this scenario, etc. Read this book. You will understand how to make more money and work for it hours and hours, and then days and years. And then when you reach the age of 65, you will have a house. Work for 35 years for it. Okay. And then be careful that you should buy a house somehow close to a good hospital, because you will be prepared for the end of your existence in this world. And then they will take you one day to the hospital where the electrical chair is waiting for you to go into annihilation. That comedy, this civilization is offering to us. Comedy, I mean, so ridiculous, so unnatural to human nature, so hurting, destroying. You will die and you will disappear from existence, but at the same time, yeah, you will try to increase the life standard in such a way that you will be happy. I'll show you happiness. Smile all the time. How can I smile? I'm going to be taken to execution of my life, death. How can I smile? How can I be happy? There's, oh, that is the momentary happiness. And that's why yourself is this. Sorry, that is an excellent point. It is a ridiculous idea that is presented to us in these secular civilizations by saying that you can just entertain your human side, do some humanitarian work so that you will be happy. Yes, doing some humanitarian works makes me feel happy. Okay, sorry, I think we are close to the end of the class, so I have to stop because the case is under.
It's okay. Thank you very much. Actually, I don't think we should start the third matter, so maybe we have 2 more minutes. If anybody has any questions or reflections, we can share it now. Because the third matter is quite long.
Is it? The third matter, did you say?
Yeah.
How long is it? Can I see it?
Yes, here it is.
It is wrong. You are right. If anybody else would like to say something, questions, concerns, next week, inshallah, next week we will prepare ourselves and concentrate on the content of the third matter, inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah, you're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead and close us with a dua if you'd like.
Inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.